Bear with me, YouTube. In this match we have myself playing MagnaGarurumon going up against the classic green-red hybrid. So I want to say I still prefer just the basic green hybrid, but this player hasn't tested the red variant since BT7 came out. I know he's made a ton of changes to it, and by now you know he likes it, and I respect that, I guess we'll say. Okay, so I'm off to a pretty strong start. Stravi and a Boko, it's pretty good. He's going to Mimi to memory choke me, but look at that Koalamon put in work, right? People often ask me, how good is the Koalamon? Does it really do anything? First of all, I have to judge Koalamon, put some respect in his name. Secondly, the 1-cost Digivolution is huge. For example, there I was put to 1. It allows me to Digivolve and then still do something. Plus, for my deck, it's a great way to proc the Undeletion effect from the Stravimon to get that free Koji, right? So, pretty good. We set up a Sword Joe just to kind of be annoying, have a tamer to work with in case we need it. And we're still going to be getting memory choke because I don't have my own memory fixer. But at least with Boko we could potentially do something. I think I didn't have a level 4 there, you know, being able to go into like a Beowulf might have been a good play there. So we're going to just set up another Pokemon, bottom decking an Ice Wall, but picking up some pieces, so it's probably fine. He finds a red rookie, and now it puts me in the... like, we're fine, right? We get double Boko. I think that last turn I should have swung with the Koalamon to spend the 2 memory, because I just kind of wasted 2 memory, right? In hindsight, I think that was a mistake. I could have attacked with the Koalamon, tapped the Sword Joe, getting rid of the sources from his Beetlemon, which would have then prevented a 1-cost Digivolution, right? So, remember back, I definitely consider that to be a mistake there. Okay, so he's going to swing at the Boko. We're going to block to get my Undeletion effect and keep my Boko alive so that we'll have good plays for next turn, right? Having a Koji with double Boko is sure to lead to something cool, assuming we have at least a level 4, right? He still has, you know, memory to work with. I guess he really doesn't want to, you know, give me Sword Joe, so he's probably not going to be playing any sort of... Yeah, okay, he's going to use the Flame on to trade against the Boko, definitely going to slow me down there, and then plays the purple Mimi to memory choke me. We see purple Mimi from, like, you know, blue players. It's just a generically good card. You could technically almost run in anything, especially good if your deck has 0-cost options, so you can use them and then gain memory with the purple Mimi. And on top of that, Mimi can always slow your opponent down and annoy them, right? We're gonna swing. Just try and get some aggression, you know, don't want to leave my dudes out there to just get cleaned up. And then go into the Magna effect. So Magna costs 4 to Digivolve into, but we get 2 back from Boko, and then we get 1 more from the Koji. So basically going into the Magna for almost no memory. In that case, I'm not going to use the effect to bounce it, because I don't want to give him the Rhino. I'd rather just swing over it with the Magna, right? Now, Magna set up on the board, we have Boko, a Stravi, and still a Tamer left over. So I'd say that was a pretty good turn. If he wants to get anything on the board, he's gonna have to Digivolve over his Mimi. And then, you know, the other purple Mimi, he can't Digivolve over. So while a really good Tamer overall, it does kind of like not work with that, with the, you know, the green hybrids. So I think we're in a pretty good spot, right? Like from this position, the game seems like it's pretty winnable. We're gonna see if he can do something. We actually haven't taken any damage, right? So I guess like we've just been fighting for the board control. He was, you know, swinging over my dudes and I was swinging over his dudes. The Sword Joe is one of those cases where like we haven't seen it do anything, but it definitely might have prevented him from, you know, being hard playing Bokos and things like that. And because I don't have a Davies, he's still doing a good job of just memory choking me. However, we can Magna. I take a rookie back because, you know, we did go into a Magna early on, committed a lot of my hand. So taking the Stravi back so we could just build into it. Now we can Digivolve from the Sword Joe, have the Beowulf. Beowulf can bounce his hybrid and we can continue the aggression. Now it's just swing, swing again, and then Magna swings for game. So I think that game was a good display of early Magna putting in work. The fact that we were able to go into it for essentially 1 memory because of the Boko is pretty crazy. I think that a lot of people that haven't played the Magna deck don't realize like how cheap the Magna can actually be. Like, yes, you know, the requirement to have 5 hybrids in hand can be difficult sometimes, but I say this all the time, my deck is built to make that consistent. We run a truckload of hybrids, and then as you saw there, you know, with a Boko on the board, proccing the Koji effect, we essentially go from, you know, Koji to a Magna for essentially 1 memory. And when you think about like what your average hybrid does, like Magna is infinitely stronger, right? So something about Magna, super cool. I mean, I could sit here all day and tell you guys about how cool Magna is. I definitely think you guys should play it if you haven't. And I've also been saying this a lot, but I think as we head into the BT8 format, I think the regular blue hybrid will see less play and it'll become a lot worse because the way Jogris works against that strategy. But I think that Magna will probably still be really solid. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Magna is going to be a tier 1 deck in BT8, but I definitely plan to still play it, and I'm sure that it's going to do more than okay. Really curious about that actually, but I think the Magna strategy is just too solid, and it's one of those things that like, it doesn't really matter what your opponent's doing, like you can pretty much bounce anything and just be super aggressive, so we'll see. Okay, so this Maran, he does start with a Boko because we don't have a Sora Joe out. We're going to go with a blue memory boost to pick up our pieces. A bunch of Stravies there being sent to the bottom, and then a Koji. I think it's a pretty good start, right? Like, I put him to 3, but we are guaranteed to have plays for next turn. He's gonna just swing with the Boko. He knows that, you know, if he leaves it up, it's gonna give me Upa draw. It's gonna potentially get bounced. So I think swing with the Boko is correct there. JP already lets you go into hybrids for cheaper. I don't think he needs to be greedy with the Boko. We're gonna pop the memory boost to go into a Kendo with Jammin'. This essentially just, it's letting me do something rather than just passing the turn, and he's got the Ken, so I have to be careful at how we want to pass over the memory. I was debating whether we commit to a Beowulf to take the Kendo back, but I decide not to, because my thought process is we can always go into a Beowulf next turn and get the Kendo back, and if I go into a Beowulf right now, he could just easily, you know, go Ken and then swing over it, and I don't like that idea, right? I feel like the Kendo with Jammin' is a good amount of pressure. If he wants to commit his Ken to answer the Kendo, I'm okay with that. And because it's not like that big level 5, he might not. It does Digivolve over Kendo, and I think we're okay with that. We see Hidden Potential, which is going to be going to the bottom of the deck. Hidden Potential can be pretty good in any green shenanigans, right? Goes into the Rhino. So yeah, he did have the full thing. He's not going to get the Piercing, but he does get the Trash. And we kind of have to start again. So if I had gone into Beowulf, we'd have a Kendo in hand, but I would have lost my Beowulf, right? But because he lost his Ken, I can now use the Koalamon to go into a Beowulf and memory choke him to 1. I like this play because I don't want to commit anything on the board while he has the Beetle, as you know, he could always just get swung over and then he gets extra value. So I memory choke him, and we still have a Koji set up. The Ancient Beetle is super hard for me to answer. The best answer that my deck has to it is to go into a Magna and use the Magna to bounce it. However, that does require that I have double Magna in hand as well as the other hybrids, right? So it's not the easiest thing to answer, but it is a way that we can answer there. Goes into a JP, just give me a little bit of memory. At this point, we're in a pretty tough spot. We could, you know, answer the Galzamon pretty easy, but then we risk just losing to Ancient Beetle plus hybrid, right? So we're still swinging the security because I need to pressure him, so we can potentially try and go for game soon. Can at least answer the rookie. There's really no way that I mean, he's always going to get at least 1 memory, right? But I go into a Magna and I restand. The idea here is that if he doesn't have the hybrid, then with Magna we can go for game next turn, right? But I mean, JP is too good. It's actually too good. Now he could also hit into a Hammer Spark. You know, put him to 1 is definitely correct there because, you know, my deck does run Hammer Sparks and Ice Walls, so you have to play around this, right? If my only way to win is to put him to 1 and he hits 1 to 1 with some security, then that's what we do. However, my security was not very good this game, and he just goes hybrid for game. I think that game, if we had hit like maybe a Davis in security, that would have been super nice, or a Hammer Spark. We didn't really have much of anything, and I just ended up getting memory choked over and over again. And then when he gave up his memory tamer, he already had the level 6 on the board, and although I tried to memory choke him back, JP kind of just says no to that, right? So that's game 2 going to the red-green hybrid. I don't think we saw much of the red package do really anything there. The Gaussmon, you know, can potentially be good, but we had Digivolve into the Beowulf from the breeding, paid the full 3 anyway. But yeah, just like just the standard. I say this all the time, but like the basic green hybrid cards are so good. The Beetlemon is insane for the searches. Metal Kabuteru is super sick, 6k and suspend. Rhino is crazy too, right? 8,000 is just so strong, can swing over all the other level 5 hybrids. And then the one attacking effect is pretty good. And then on top of that, the level 6s are good as well. I do like the Rhino Beetle, as well as the Horse. It is an option too. So now we're going into game 3. Let's see how this one goes. Okay, so I like going second. He's gonna mulligan. By the way, we're still playing with mulligan, but I think in the future we're going back to no mulligan, which kind of sucks. So I don't know. I mean, I guess by now they've definitely tested enough, and I feel like people do like the mulligan. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Okay, we have Stravi. I remember I have a pretty good opener. We have the BT4 Beowulf, which is ideal against green because they just can't do anything to it. They literally can't touch it. It's actually super funny. It's not the best opener because the best opener is the Beowulf with the Stravi that's gonna give me memory. But this is good enough, right? The idea here is that the Beowulf cannot be interacted with against green. And as a blue deck with Magna, we can then race and, you know, just aggro my opponent down. So that's the game plan we're gonna go to. This time around, he doesn't swing with the Boku, which is definitely correct. And he's rewarded by getting some memory out of it. And he's gonna go into the Rhino Beetle and swing into the Horse. Now the Horse is kind of annoying, but honestly, it's fine. He also had the Atomic, which lets him get 2 damage from the Horse, which is a bit scary. However, I feel like we're still set to win the race, right? He's got 3 swings next turn, but I have Beowulf, Rookie, plus Davis. So I just have to make sure that we can win next turn. And the way that I could do that is by setting up a Koji to ensure Magna shenanigans, right? I will say in this game, the red package did do work, because if you didn't have the Atomic Inferno, then we win the race 100%, right? But 1 memory for 1 extra security check is pretty rough. At this point, I'm at 0, and I would love to memory choke him, but I don't have a way to do that. So I was a little bit scared, but I'm like, he only has 3 Digimon. It's green, it's not like he can get extra swings. I do die to another Atomic, but he already played one, so be it. However, he has a hidden potential. We've let some Digivolve into a Susanomon for only 2. This not only clears my Beowulf, which they usually can't interact with, but it also gives some extra checks. Then Flamon can swing for game. Once again, a Hammer Spark insecurity would have been nice, but it was not to be. Hidden potential to Susano, pretty strong play. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Thanks for watching.